Hi, my name is Camila, and I'm the managing director of Untried, where we use AI to create what I call then an internal brain for enterprises. In short, we connect people with the right information, which is especially crucial in time-sensitive situations. We make internal knowledge accessible, similar to what Google did, but for external resources. I strongly believe that AI will be the defining technology of our times. And on today's talk, I will explain why we, the consumers, builders, and decision makers, should start embracing and advocating for implementations of AI systems in our lives and workplaces. I will also share with you a couple of examples of projects where AI has been used to improve both commercial and public focused outcomes. Firstly, I want you to notice that you are surrounded by AI powered inventions, sometimes even without realizing that they use AI. Alexa, Uber, Amazon recommendation engines, they are stuffed with AI. AI-powered robots are also everywhere, from those cleaning your home to AI-enabled drones delivering blood to the most remote places, like you see here on this GIF. So these are all examples of specialized AI, as there is no such thing as artificial general intelligence, the super intelligent agent that understands and learns any intellectual task like a human would do. I want you to notice that all the examples I'm going to use in this talk are examples of narrow type of AI, the specialized one. When electricity was introduced to the world, it changed everything. AI is already proven to be the next big thing, and it will transform everything, all types of industries, and it will create enormous economic value, just like electricity once did. As with any new technology trends picking up, remember big data or blockchain? People rush to predict the huge breakthroughs in the next few years, but it usually never happens. It takes time to get adoption of the new technology, but once it's mainstream, the benefits and number of applications grow exponentially. Because we humans tend to overestimate the impact of technology in the short term, but underestimated in the long term. And this is also known as Amara's law. AI is only starting to get a real recognition, but the benefits of applying AI will be unlimited. As humanity, we progressed due to our unique ability to learn. Because of this learning, we can progress at scale. That's also the main domain of AI. And that's what makes it stand out from any other technology that has ever been created before. AI can learn anything quickly, meaning its intelligence is increasing. In 2013, AI had the same intelligence as a 4-year-old kid. By 2029, studies show that AI will likely surpass human intelligence. But it can do already pretty cool things. If you don't believe me, hear AI making Frank Sinatra sing Toxic by Britney Spears. course, our human ear can still catch that there is something off. But it's not so long until tech becomes so fine, it will be impossible or almost impossible to trace if the source is genuine or it's just a deep fake. And although such projects may seem purely entertaining, AI as technology holds enormous value when it comes to solving very complex problems. You need to know that there are many types of AI, from deep learning to machine learning tools, of which a perfect example is popularized by news deepfakes or Tesla self-driving cars or self-diagnosing NASA rovers, which use machine learning to constantly analyze new data and predict what's the next best move. There is also a whole different area of AI making sense of text, voice, and all unstructured data. And that's my domain. For those just getting familiar with AI, these are just computer algorithms designed to make decisions, often using real-time data. There is no magic to it. It's nothing like the scary Terminator robot that is a threat to the humanity. On the contrary, AI, like any other technology, is created by humans for humans. Okay, I admit the current models of AI are not as simple as the one I show you here. It's not as if-else scripted algorithms anymore. But AI is unlike the traditional programming, where you had to manually write the logic that program uses to produce output from the input data. And I'm sure you saw the picture of Margaret Hamilton standing next to a pile of printed code she wrote for NASA. This is the logic that took first humans to the moon. AI is completely different game. Here you train machine learning and AI models by feeding them examples similar to how children learn. Fun fact, you are also training AI systems without even knowing that. These CAPTCHA are in fact used for training the self-driving car models so they can recognize different elements in the environment. And that brings me to one of the biggest challenges or obstacles to good AI, data, or rather huge amounts of data versus our human limitations. This is the reason why AI is such a game changer that will improve exponentially the way we live and work. Because we humans cannot possibly grasp and understand all available data and make sense of it instantly. This is not how our brains work. That's because data for us can be overwhelming. According to American psychologist George Miller, who did the study in 1956, human brain can process and consume so much information, only so much information, before becoming overloaded. In fact, most people can only handle 7 chunks of information, plus minus 2, before at a time. And you've probably heard of the paradox of choice, where having more options actually makes us unable to make decisions, and we feel paralyzed. Now, think of how many databases and systems you need to interact with at work every day. Scattered data is difficult to make sense of, and we cannot see how everything relates. Lots of things are overlooked, and people use their gut feeling instead of taking decisions based or supported by data. The good thing is that that's what computers and AI are perfect for. AI can help you filter the most relevant data to what you're looking for almost instantly. Natural language processing, the type of AI I deal with, helps computers to understand human language, the context behind words, how words are connected, or the whole sentences as well. So you can ask a question using natural language, and the computer will give you and calculate and show you results that are most relevant to what you are looking for. This is what Google search engine uses. And another cool thing about AI, it can learn and give you more and more accurate results each time you interact with it. But if you are still looking for more reasons to embrace AI, think of all the bias. I'm sure you've heard of the shocking cases in systems of justice. Many researchers in fact, have highlighted how judges' decisions can be unconsciously influenced by their own personal beliefs, or the work related examples where employers granted interviews at different rates to candidates with exactly the same resumes, but with names considered to reflect different racial groups. Human decisions are also very difficult to review. Humans lie about the reasons why what influenced them to make the decisions, or they may not even understand the factors that influenced it and their thinking, leaving room for unconscious bias. AI can help reduce this bias. Well, technically, it can also reinforce it, but that's another other subject. And then there is diversity. Diversity is, of course, closely related to bias. When there is a lack of diversity, there is a lack of diverse thoughts. If the population that is creating the technology is homogeneous, we are going to get the technology that only serves best the population that designed them. However, with the correct level of oversight and governance, AI could result in a workplace of the future which promotes more diversity, it's more meritocratic, and even harmonious as a place for employees. It's that simple. AI learns about the world from the data we feed it. So if the data is biased, AI results will be biased also. Luckily, there is more and more stress put into understanding how systems are designed, AI systems are designed, and how they can come up with the results they do. Governments are also finally putting rules and regulations in place to prevent misuse of AI. And they also try to reinforce developing explainable AI even further. So, explainable artificial intelligence is a set of processes and methods that allows humans to comprehend and trust the results created by machine learning algorithms. Explainable AI is used to describe an AI model that is its expected impact and potential biases, so then they can be easily analyzed and changed. It contrasts with the concept of the black box in machine learning, where its designers cannot explain how and why AI arrived at a specific decision. On April 21st, this year, so a bit more than a month ago, the European Commission unveiled its proposal for regulation, laying down harmonized rules on artificial intelligence. Opposite to what we are seeing in China, EU advocates for rules that follow a risk-based approach. So where AI systems that are considered a clear threat to safety, a livelihood of the rights of the people, will be simply banned. This includes AI systems or applications that manipulate human behavior. Hello, Facebook. To circumvent users' free will. For example, toys using voice assistants encouraging dangerous behavior of minors. And all those systems that allow social scoring by governments will also be banned. But before we move to the examples of how AI is used these days, I want to bring up another topic, why I think AI is such a game changer. For me and my colleagues at Untried, the most promising and exciting area where AI can help, where no previous technology could, is tapping into tribal knowledge. Tribal knowledge means simply all unwritten information and practices that are part of every company or organization. And usually that kind of knowledge is not codified or standardized in any way. Tribal knowledge is typically in heads of a few senior employees who have been there, done that. And what's scary or promising at the same time is that the amount of tribal knowledge in a company is directly proportional to the years of existence, its growth, and the underlying complexity of the products or services it provides. And it may surprise you or not, but tribal knowledge could be as high as 50% of all work knowledge in some companies with the complex or services or products. For example, in company with lots of legacy systems and applications, sometimes there is only one or two people in a company of, let's say, thousands of employees who know how to navigate and fix bugs without bringing the whole system down. So what happens if those employees leave or retire? Well, usually that knowledge dies and then it has to be rediscovered, which is quite costly. That AI can come to the rescue. Even though most of this tribal knowledge hasn't been codified, it lives in the form of free text of, let's say, support tickets, reports, or email conversations. AI, or specifically NLP, can tap into that knowledge and unstructured data and pull the information out for the new employees to learn and use. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel each time you're looking for some new project. You can use what's already been written or created before. But enough of the theory. I want to bring up some of the greatest use of AI we've been working on. Let's look at the healthcare and the current situation. Millions of people around the world have already got their COVID-19 vaccine. And that's thanks to AI. The pace and scale of vaccine rollout is unprecedented, and AI plays a crucial role in it. Healthcare organizations harness AI and machine learning to schedule vaccines, streamline patient communications, and prioritize access to those in the biggest need. Another great use case of AI in healthcare is pneumonia diagnosis. Researchers from Stanford developed an algorithm to assess chest x-rays for signs of the disease. Their AI can recognize up to 14 types of medical conditions, with one particularly surprising results. AI is better at diagnosing pneumonia than several expert radiologists working together. Or the famous Google AI-based breast cancer detection algorithm, which was screening, and it still is, because it's very successful. Cervical cancer provides cervical cancer screening developed by the National Cancer Institute. The AI developed by Google analyzes X-rays images known as mammograms and reduces the number of false negatives. And it seems that in the UK, for example, it cuts 2.7% in false negatives and 1.2% in false positives, which is a lot. There are many other ways to utilize AI. One of the projects I had the chance of working on was using NLP, so the AI field helping to understand human language, to analyze patients' data, which allowed for better management of patients' visits. The system was reviewing those structured and unstructured data from medical records and doctor's notes, hieroglyphs, creating an accurate and comprehensive health portrait of the patient, thus allowing for better, more effective, and faster treatment. Another use case I'm particularly proud of working is how AI can also be used in crime prevention and better public assistance. AI has proven to be massively beneficial to policing, as big data sets can be processed faster, risk assessed more accurately, and crime or even terrorist attacks predicted and prevented. Simply, AI can help solve more crimes at a shorter period of time. And there is a lot of work to do in this field. According to Home Office data, the proportion of crimes solved by police in England and Wales has fallen to the lowest level recorded. That's why, because crime investigations are very, very expensive. Each case takes a lot of man hours. Resources may not be such a big problem for big cities like London, but resource poor cities are less able to reduce investigators' caseloads. There are lots of systems and lots of siloed data. AI can cut this time to research and find patterns in data, also in sources where usually people may not even look for, or they even don't know that such data exists. Let's consider the 999 calls. Traditionally, when a person or a witness called to report an accident, a person in the control room would take a note and then analyze it as quickly as human can in order to assess the risk level. Based on that, they could dispatch a number of officers according to seriousness of the situation. However, around 40% of the 999 calls only in London recorded by the Metropolitan Police are considered non-valuable. That means calls like pranks, miscellaneous, or drop-offs. This takes valuable time and resources, which otherwise could be assigned to helping people who are in real danger. What we are seeing is that by using AI, the system can automatically analyze what's being reported, and crucial data is surfaced in real time without any human intervention or engaging valuable time of police officers. This gives police staff more time to focus on the most important task, analyzing the seriousness of the situation. making an informed risk assessment, and ultimately deciding how to react to that situation. We cannot hide from the fact fatigue and stress contributes to many accidents, not only in policing. Therefore, one of the key advantages of AI is its ability to stay more alert, focused, and relaxed of all times. These are use cases of AI that can have a very positive outcome in our lives and society. But like with everything, there are two sides to the story. Like losing jobs to AI, for example. However, in the long run, it may not be necessarily a bad thing. A recent McKinsey report estimates that by 2030, robotics and AI will take human jobs in less than 5%. But on the other side of the coin, it has also been reported that technology will enhance 60% of jobs rather than displace human altogether. More exciting jobs will be created. And it's hard to imagine that a data scientist or a YouTuber as a profession didn't exist 10 years ago. AI tools and robots, our digital coworkers, will enable people to perform roles that were previously beyond their capabilities or they didn't exist. Automated coworkers will also increase individuals' productivity, enabling us to work shorter days while benefiting economy as a whole. Imagine the effect of automating routine tasks, giving your team more time to work on exciting projects that inspire and motivate, in turn helping a business grow and succeed. If this pandemic taught us anything, is that digital transformation can be done fast. The way we work has changed. Remote work presents new challenges such as information exchange limited exchange, information exchange, how we can connect and bond with other people across distances, how can we enable innovation and brainstorming at scale. To prepare for AI revolution, employers need to become more data-driven and use technologies to improve working practices. That what we've noticed within working with the most successful companies is that they all follow these three areas. First, establishing a culture of collaboration to unleash innovation. Learning from that allows for learning from each other in an environment that is safe to make mistakes. And this will be essential to ensure new techniques and working practices can be safely tested. Second is driving intelligent productivity. So making things worth doing, simple as that. Empowering employees to focus their time and energy and brain power on issues that really matter to them and to the organization. This will help keeping employees more engaged and keen to learn more. And third, making company assets accessible by having a culture of openness where information and knowledge can be shared easily, helping talents thrive. Again, AI systems that can help such employees to benefit and tap into knowledge beyond silos are very, very beneficial. So, how can you start with AI? We found, by working with many different companies, we found that the best way to implement AI projects is to start small. With all the clients, we always seek to find the self-contained, narrow use case with a well-defined value proposition. This allows for their teams and our teams to be more inclined to make investment into AI, as their initial risk and their resource commitment is very low. This may be for example, selecting only a small number of products or systems that need to be integrated with our AI engine, or testing AI engines on static, dumped real company data, rather than undergoing a bureaucratic nightmare, procurement nightmare, and asking for permissions to the APIs. Once both their teams and our teams learn that the outcomes are okay, there is satisfaction, we can then expand into wider range of clients' data systems into integrating it or products. Sum up, people use technology to solve problems of our own nature, to reach beyond our limitations. AI is the perfect example, perfect candidate, as it enhances the speed, precision, and effectiveness of our efforts. But here is a paradox. As companies try to streamline their businesses by using artificial intelligence to make critical decisions, they may inadvertently make themselves less efficient. We should advocate for human plus AI approach, using AI systems alongside humans, not instead of them. We should employ AI while keeping humans in the loop, making them more efficient, productive, and happy. As we progress with AI, we will be able to figure out on we will be able to figure out out not how to solve problems, but what problems are worth solving. With AI, we are finally able to get more comprehensive insight on what kind of patterns, what are the patterns of problems, and we are finally able to work on things that we enjoy and leave the mundane, repetitive tasks to robots who are much better doing those. We are finally humanizing work. That's why I'm optimistic about the future of AI. And at Untried, we think AI will solve many more challenges that it presents. Thank you.